Greetings, good afternoon. Everybody's probably thinking, what show are they on, Shell? Not seen us for a while together.
No.
Thinking, hang on a minute, is it Real Talk? It's the middle of the day. No, it's not. Yes, welcome everybody. It is the Simply Together show. I nearly said Real Talk, actually. The Simply Together show, Tuesday the 20th of June. Myself and producer, co-host, director, and a load of other things, but we're going to hear a little bit more about very shortly. Shelley Titmus is in the house.
Hello.
So if you are just joining us now, it's your first time, you're in for an incredible journey as always. As we always say, we are live on Facebook on our own page, Simply Deez Events. We are also live on Pamtengo Radio. We are also on our YouTube channel. Are we anywhere else, Shelley?
Well, it would be shared a little bit later on other bits and pieces, but yeah.
So that's why it's your job to do the sharing.
Yeah.
We can chat, as you know, we can chat. I'm Dee Bailey, founder of Simply Deez Events, and we just thought, just over 2 years ago now, so I don't think we officially kind of even acknowledged and celebrated the Simply Together show. 2 years, 1st of June was 2 years. You guys are going like, no way. Yes way. Just about, maybe, I don't know, maybe about 4-5 weeks max, every single Tuesday without fail. Our other hosts, we rotate a host. We have the wonderful Cecile Terrelong. We have Nikki Akti. We also have Samara Barnett. We have Shelley Titmus, and we have myself and any other guests we can throw in. So if you're out there, you've got something. Yay. And if you're out there, hi ladies, if you're out there and you've got something that you would like to share with us, for us to have a little chat about, then please do get in contact. So as I say, without further ado, all our shows are important. Sometimes you might not understand or get it, but it's going to be important to somebody out there. Have we got our first guest waiting in the wings, Shell?
Yes, we do.
Certainly do. So this young lady, bring her on, and I'll.
Hello.
Deborah and I.
Really nice to be here with you again, Dee. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem at all, darling. No problem at all. I was just going to say, I don't even know how long it is since I've known you. Since I've known you, probably not as long as I've known of you.
I have known of you since I was very young.
Get lost.
You were working on a project with Helen Tucker.
Do you know what? People are going to think, like, she that old? Not you, me. Oh, I remember you from when I was young.
Well, you was young too. We was all young together. We're still all young now.
That's it. Tell them, Debs. Tell them. Yes, that's right.
It's been a long journey and a long time, and it's been a great collaboration, you know, along the way. I think this is one of the reasons why this Create a Case project is so important, so that we get these Caribbean stories out there and lasting and in the archive and the records, because every time I speak to different people, they remind me of different things, of different projects, of different things that we worked on, which have become forgotten about, are not part of the national narrative, you know. And it's do you know, like it was a long time that I have known of you, even though it's only been like maybe the last 3 years that we've really been working together. But I think we're always stronger together. We're always stronger in collaboration, you know. And I think it's important that we highlight just how many positive things that we have produced in this community together as Caribbean people. And I think as well, Dee, it would be really good to have some of the stories and some of the speakers that we've been collecting over the last 20 years to come onto your show and share a little bit. If I talk to you about the one we're doing on the June 22nd, so this is featuring the stories that we've been collecting over the last 30 years, like from the Caribbean elders.
Because we got masses out there. I think Shelley, who was a lady that was just on, is our producer, and we're nearing the 1 million marker of viewers right
Okay.
now. And you're probably thinking, are we? Yes, we are. And I need you to tip us over that 1 million. So people are going like, oh yeah, it says Deborah Knight. Like, who are you? I need a little background before you go into
Oh,
the
sorry.
22nd. That's all right.
I'm
Don't
sorry.
apologise. Don't
Oh,
apologise.
okay. So I'm Deborah Knight. I'm the CEO and founder of 9 Represent CIC, which is a Queen's Award winning community interest company. We've been running for around about 20 years, and we run a range of different projects. So we were started by a group of abuse victims who were falling through the gap, and we wanted to deal with things like intersectional discrimination, you know, race as well as gender, and how being Black and female has more gaps, because if the left hand don't get you, the right hand does. But then also including other discriminations, so age, ability, sexuality, religion. And so what we wanted to do was provide holistic support, so that people were able to not just get support about issues relating to abuse, but other issues that affect them specifically as Black females. So that's like kind of where we started, and then different wellbeing projects kind of like arose out of this initial starting. And one of the things that was really important that we noticed was the level of cultural deprivation. We were not understanding our history, our heritage, and our culture. Like, you could access African American stories, but you couldn't really easily access stories from Africa or the Caribbean. And growing up and wanting to have stories where we identified with, where you had like the mainstream English fairy tales, you had Cinderella and Snow White and Rapunzel, and you know, there is always like a hero, like a heroine, and a big bad wolf. And comparatively, our stories were The Colour Purple and I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, and the heroine in those stories are motivational and inspirational because they're overcoming discrimination and because they're overcoming abuse. And we wanted, or we felt that it was really important that people understood our own journeys from the Caribbean, from Africa, and also the stories that existed here, because, you know, like before Windrush, there was a very diverse African and Asian community that existed in this country. And so we wanted to bring these stories about Black British history and what Caribbeans and Africans have contributed to modern Britain based upon like our heritage and our identities. And so much of what we do is like we transform places and we transform spaces by incorporating art, and that has sort of like a social message that highlights or raises the profile about various different things. But alongside that, we use art as therapy and as medicine, taking like our ancient traditions into account. So things like light, sound, and color therapy, as well as herbals and herbal treatment, you know, and dealing with like garden medicine and the use of herbs. Like dandelion root is an amazing herb that does a lot of benefits for the body, but we only consider it as a weed. But in our ancient civilizations, we used to use these things. So it was about bringing like who we are to the fore and having people understand the significance of what we have contributed across the board to medicine, to science, to inventions and progress, you know, and also about the fact that people sometimes they seem to forget that we're in help rebuild. It wasn't because, and I don't mean this in any way disrespectfully to any other group or any other nation, everybody that is here for a reason, but the reason why we came was not because we were fighting or running away from war or famine or poverty. We were invited to help rebuild. They needed our skills, they needed our talents. That's why we're here, not because we were taking anything out of the country, but because we were providing the laborers in important jobs in important fields. We were rebuilding Britain. And the advert itself, Motherland is calling. It's calling for our help, and it's emphasizing the importance of that, because these are our roots. We're here not because we were escaping something, but because they needed the help from the Commonwealth, from the Caribbean. And you know, a lot of what we do is like to ensure that people have that self-esteem, that pride in themselves, and understand who they are, because much of what comes at us from the media is not our culture. It's what we've been led to identify with, and we've been given one Black identity which does not cover all 54 African countries or 33 Caribbean islands. And so that's what we're trying to do, is to bring in our culture, our history, our languages, our contributions, and bring them into Luton culture, bring them into the museums, make them part of the main narrative. Like, one of the opportunities that we really missed out on was the People, Power and Passion, because that was celebrating the riots, the peace riots of 1919. What people do not realise is Luton's riot in 1919, alongside many that were happening all over the country, ensured that, and these are the words of the time, so I'm using the words so that people understand, that it produced a white paper in the government, so which literally was to say that unemployed coloured seamen would be returned home at the expense of the government, because people didn't understand that after the war they were brought here, they were unemployed and they were unable to get back home, and riots resulted as a result all over the country, and Luton was one of those ones that is listed as being that appeared in that white paper. And so there's lots of stories about Luton and what we have contributed that are just not out there. Sorry, I rambled a bit.
No, that was fine. I'm hoping that those that are watching, listening, whether they're watching now or they're watching a little bit later, is like, oh, didn't know that. There is never a show that I have ever done, that everything that people have shared, I know it all already. Every day is a day for us to learn. Every day. And that's all of us. So no, thank you for that. I need you to tell us what is going on. Is it 9Red? Is it yourself? What are you guys doing to celebrate Windrush?
Okay, so collectively as a community, a call went out about 18 months ago for artifacts to be donated into the museum. So that was with ACCDF in partnership with Wardour Museum and myself as 9Red and St Kitts Nevis and Friends Association. And it was about putting artifacts into the museum. Now, one of the things that we discovered is the way that the artifacts are displayed, it doesn't actually tell the story. It removes the meaning and the value. And what we wanted to do was to create a project that enabled us to display the artifacts in a way that was pleasing to the museum, but also was pleasing to us as a community, because it got to tell the story. And that rose up this project called the Creator Case, where different members of the community are invited to come in and celebrate what elements of the community that they want to particularly celebrate. I'm celebrating my elders because the St Kitts Nevis and Friends Association, now like CIC and Carnival Club, have made massive contributions to Luton and the development. They had Saturday schools, they had an elders seniors luncheon club, they've contributed to Carnival, and they had artifacts that they donated into the museum. And so collectively with them and my father, because he's Windrush generation, he was the mayor of Luton and he's got different things that he would like to say and to contribute, we're bringing together the elders to put on an exhibition with certain artifacts that celebrates the Windrush generation and the contributions that they have made to Luton and modern Britain. And it features various different artifacts, but it also takes the audience on a journey through my family history all the way back. So to our ancestry, to where the Knight family name originated from, and that kind of story, but also travels through what the Caribbean history is, because I think sometimes we forget that we are also Mesoamerican as well as African, and we have a lot, like the indigenous populations had 100,000-year-old civilizations when Christopher Columbus arrived. And so it's about emphasizing those stories, and because we use symbols like to tell stories, to give our proverbs, we're using symbols within the case to be able to shoot people out from the physical space onto the internet, where they can actually discover more about the history of ancient Caribbean, as well as like sharing the stories about my family history, because the idea is that what we would like is more and more people from the Caribbean who are in Luton to come forward with their stories, so that we're able to have like a national archive, like connecting to very different projects that are happening all over nationally, all over this town individually, so that we're all feeding in. We all can access each other's information, histories and heritage. We all can promote each other's, so that everybody owns their story, but it is it's just in a central hub, and that central hub flows through the museum at Wardown, so it becomes part of Luton culture. It becomes part of the mainstream, so that in 100 years from now, when somebody walks into these museums, they can see the Caribbean people, what they contributed, what they did, because that's one of the things that we're denied. When you walk through any kind of like ancient ruins and people see the names of their ancestors on buildings, on walls, on libraries, on all these different places, we don't have the privilege in this country of being able to walk into these places and see who we were. People praise Marcus Aurelius as this great Roman officer and empire. What they don't talk about is how he was African. You know, they don't talk about how many of the Roman soldiers that we are reading about in these books were of African and Asian descent. Just as we live in England now, and it is diverse, and we have English people who are of all different colours doing remarkable things, this was the same was true in the Roman era. And people need to understand we've always been here. England has always looked like this, and that they need to understand that our place, but also our place in Luton specifically, because people don't understand there were people here before Windrush. You know, there were people who were working in schools. There was a head teacher of a private girls' school in Bedford who was from the Caribbean, and that was like in 1868. So it's like the more that we're able to share our stories, the more that we're able to highlight who we are, what we've done, what we have contributed, and have these things be part of the national narrative, the more likely it is in 100 years that you'll be able to, or your ancestors, the descendants, will be able to walk in and see themselves, people who they identify with, names that they recognize, people who they know as prominent figures. And that's really, you know, that's really what this project is about. And it's like we're starting obviously with me going through my family's journey, and like I'm showing people, you know, this is what it entails, this is what it looks like, it's not a hard thing to do, and we can get our stories, we can get our stories as part of Luton culture, we can get them celebrated, we can get people to know who we are, what we've done, and that's really what it is. So it launches on June the 22nd at Wardown House and Museum and Gallery. It opens when the museum opens at 10 a.m. and it will be there for a few weeks. It will have an official launch as a creator case in July, and we are looking for who is the next person from the Caribbean community who's going to put on something in the museum, because that's what we want. We want, it's like we're in now. We have an exhibition, we're in there. Who's next? Who's stepping up next from the Caribbean community? Share what they have, share what they love, share what Luton means to them and what their Black experience means. You know, whatever it is, but share it, you know.
Wow. The reason I disappeared then is because I got a message from our next guest and I clicked on it, and then the next minute it took me out because I'm on my phone. So I do apologise for that. I know we have got that information. Shelley, producer, is working off her phone as well, so we've not got the normal technology that we'd have if we had a laptop, but all the information that is being shared in terms of the events we're going to have on our pages, we'll be sharing out, and that's why we ask people to share. So this isn't a Simply Deez event, but we are supporting. Greetings, Sarai. Do you two young ladies know each other?
I think I've seen her, but at different events. I think the Windrush in 2021 at the 80s BDF event.
If you haven't met me, you'll see me. I'm currently in blue zebra stripe dress, trying to keep cool in this weather.
Oh, excellent. It's so important for us at like Simply Deez, and we have, and I sort of like reached out to Sarai because I was like, I know she's involved in whatever it is, and the same with you, Naz. We promote on this show that it's not just our events, there's lots of things going on in the community. It's like, how can we get that message across? There's different methods, we have different audiences, but how can we support one another? Yeah, how can we support one another? Sarai, did you know about what Debs is doing at the... Had you heard?
Yeah, I'm most probably in a whirlwind of my own events. I try to keep up with all things Luton, you know that, whenever I can.
Yeah. So it's just a case of sort of like how and what's getting out there and information sharing, and also connecting.
I think we have to not put too much pressure that we are on the rebuild and the comeback. This is the first year that as far as I work in the charity sector, first year that London Marathon's back in April, not in October. We've had a very upside down, I feel, community calendar, and not being all in everything coming out and everyone coming out. So this is our first year. I think everything is really back on the calendar and everybody is out. And the weather, I mean, look, we didn't even have spring. All I know is it's gone from cold to inferno. And we're halfway through the year.
Yeah.
How did that happen? I remember going to your International Women's Day event. I'm like,
yeah,
how did that happen?
I know.
So I think we just need to be remember to be gentle with ourselves and really think about how we want to communicate with each other as well. Because I think build back from COVID we've all been kind of split unnecessarily, and there is a lot going on individually, personally, professionally, everything. So yes, it is how do we get back together, because I'm sure there's still people that we still haven't seen since possibly COVID properly, like had that, not even a face-to-face hello, because everything is virtual, which has its benefits, but there's nothing like a face-to-face. And we've also, talking about Windrush, from a local perspective, what I've seen shared, we are losing so many from that generation. And it's for us to come back, and what does the build back look like for us is most probably the question, and really prioritizing that face-to-face connection and that sit down, slow it down a little bit.
I'm not disagreeing with any of what you're saying at all. It's just a case of just letting everybody know, in that's out there, that this show has been going for 2 years now, every Tuesday. 2 years, and there's so much going on out there that sometimes, exactly what you said, how do people know? Not everybody is online, not everybody is out and about and all the rest of it and that. But if there is an opportunity for you to share and let people know what is going on, because not everything out there is for you.
Very true.
Not everything.
And if you're going somewhere, invite someone to come along with you.
Well, this is what I'm sort of saying. So that really is what I'm just saying now. It's just that there's things going on. We do the connections. So if you hadn't known each other previously before, we're making that connection now. I'm going to bring you on in just 1 second, as in officially, Soraya. But I just want to finish up with Debs. So 9 Red are doing some awesome work out there. What else is happening next weekend? On this, is it the 2nd?
Oh, the 2nd of July.
Yes.
Yeah, we're having the Sundon Park Summer Festival. It will be on Leagrave Park, and it has a 75th Windrush celebration exhibition. So it will be going through, repeating some of the information that's going to be in Wardown House and Museum Gallery in that exhibition. But it's about what the local Caribbean community have contributed to Luton over the period of time. And it's just the stories that we've been collecting over the last 30 years. We are obviously trying to collect more and more and more, because we're trying to include all 33 islands so that everybody is represented. So it is growing, and we are asking people, come forwards and share your stories, and we'll see if we can grow it, But there is a Windrush exhibition that will be there. It's interactive, so you'll be able to engage with that, hear some of the stories. We've got from I was young, I started collecting the stories that the elders told me within St Kitts Nevis and Friends Association. So it's, the stories of when they came over as nurses, trying to help rebuild the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. It's those that worked in Vauxhalls and Electrolux and what their experiences were like, those that have contributed and gone on to do different things. So you hear about the people, like what their processes and their lives and experience was like. Some of those that have got the MBEs that share their sort of stories and their journeys and what it is. It talks about the Saturday schools that they used to run. So it's kind of just celebrating what the elders contributed to Luton, their legacy, what they have made, what they have created, what they have done, what they have contributed, so that it becomes a lasting legacy and part of the narrative. So again, it's repeating elements of it at the festival on July the 2nd, so that people can come along and sign up to share their stories, so that we can all link together in a way that we can show people the numbers of Caribbean people who are still in Luton, still attending events, wanting to have kinds of events for them and produced by them, but we need to do it as collaborative events all in one place, all at one time, so that people can literally see the numbers, rather than us having these divided audiences where they think there's 50 of us or 100 of us. But let us all come out in one event and show just how many Caribbean people are in Luton, why we're important to being included into the national landscape and the national narrative, why there should be funding for us, why we should have our own community space and community building. And that's really what it's for. It's to try and show people who we are, what we've done, what we've achieved, and that we deserve better than what we've currently been receiving. And that's really the emphasis and the idea behind it. But we're doing it by highlighting who we are first. And so that's the event on July. So there will be various different people coming, performing, doing a variety of different things. There is a number of different stalls, the numbers are different. It just like we put a call out to the community, and who's responded will be there. But it's that's what it's about. It's about celebrating who we are and showing people just how many there are of us, and we have numbers, and because we have numbers we have power.
Fabulous.
Sorry, I rambled.
As always. As always, thank you so much.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Can anyone hear me? No?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, it's just you, Debs.
I can't hear you.
Don't worry.
I'm going to sign off. Sorry. Have a good. Take care. Bye-bye.
We will do. We will share that information, everyone, that Debs has talked about, in terms of the Wall Down Museum. That's on the 22nd of June. So much is going on that day. So hopefully, if you can't make one event, you can make perhaps another event. So we have the lovely Soraya here. Soraya, my gosh, we go back a little while. But young lady, what are you here to share with us today? What is going to be happening?
What guys have I come in? Okay.
Yes.
You know, I'm a woman
this
of
is the
many
guys
hats.
that you've come
many head wraps.
Yes.
More than many head wraps. Okay, so I'm on today as co-chair of United Luton Caribbean and African Committee. We are a small and very young committee that came together after the murder of George Floyd, came together and contributed to what we now have. And I know it's not out there, but put forward, contributed to the Black Lives Matter motion, which the council is responsible for. And we just check in with them with the monitoring. And we also have had the baton handed to us to support ACCDF with the civic raising of the Windrush flag, which has been around since 2018. And in the other news, Luton has a Windrush motion. Don't know if you knew about that one. So
no.
We have a lot more than... Yes, Luton. How many councils do you know that have a Windrush motion? Okay. So I think sometimes we have a lot more in our arsenal, and it's because just the sharing and the talking about it that we can really hold people to account. But I'm just here to say that we have our civic event on the steps of the town hall. I'm happy to say the weather is going to be fantastic, because if it was anything like this morning...
You have to manifest it, mate, I'm telling you.
I'm manifesting, because it was okay. We was like, oh, this is going to be fantastic, because we did have some of it outside and it really worked in terms of engaging the wider community of what, about the event. And we have one of our oldest residents, the fabulous Miss is Rosie Allen, who's 102.
I know.
So if you do the maths, and know when she was born, she's really been through it. She literally, before cars even had engines, if I'm not even mistaken. So she survived the pandemic, and she's really here. So it's a historical and momentous occasion, and it will be on the steps. So that means everybody can come. We are kicking off from 12 to 2. There will be free nibbles available as well.
So, I mean, do I need to still cook me dinner, isn't the question?
Possibly, yes. But But we do have a second event where we've got full Caribbean free food on Saturday, the 24th, also hosted inside the town hall from 3 to 7 p.m.
Okay, so what's happening on the Saturday then?
So Saturday, we recognise that this year's a big year. We always
Mm-hmm.
will host the civic event. The civic event is to invite all dignitaries. It's one for both events are for all the community, but having a civic event is really that recognition of
Okay.
raising the flag is really important. We do have a Windrush flag, and we are one of the few, although it is building, and most probably for the 75th anniversary, you're going to see a lot more happen across the county. But like I said, we have a Windrush motion.
Mm-hmm.
The flag has been raised since 2018. We're doing it on Thursday, 22nd of June, 12 to 2 p.m. on the steps of the town hall. We have a host
Okay,
of
so people could
speakers.
just come along anytime, just come along and
Yes,
just
ideally,
watch.
we want you, if you can stay for the whole program, it'll be great to actually hear what Miss Rosie Allen has to say. I'm sure we'll all, you can imagine what she can share. You just
Yeah.
can't imagine. She's 102. What has she not seen?
Have you met her before?
No, I haven't. I don't know
Yeah.
if you've met her before.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I can imagine she's got a lot to tell us, especially us young ones, because we've got primary school choir. So you can imagine the age
Amazing.
range.
Do you know, I was going to ask actually, are you aware of, I mean, is this being celebrated in schools, Windrush Day, or is it just a case of, you know, community organisations doing their things? Do you
With
know?
Windrush, I believe it's community organisations. As far as the Black Lives Matters motion in Luton,
Mm-hmm.
there are 10 points in the Black Lives Matters motion, and one of them highlights about decolonisation of the curriculum. But again,
Okay.
that's a wider discussion and more,
And
but this
another.
could be seen as the starting point. And we
Okay.
have tried to engage schools, and last year we did have Chiltern Academy involved. This time it's a slightly shorter program because usually where it's quite hot,
Yeah.
it's a lot of in terms of capturing everyone's time, because time
Course.
is a precious currency at the minute.
Yes,
So
it
12 to
certainly
2
is.
kind of works.
Mhm.
It's about honouring and celebrating those that are with us, as well as those that are not with us from the Luton Windrush generation.
Mhm.
And it's that awareness that of our history in the wider context, and telling, as like Deborah was talking about, telling that story. Because there
Okay.
is a lot of history. I think sometimes you focus, everything is London, but outside London, we have a lot of
Plenty.
history as African and Caribbean people.
Definitely.
Very
Definitely.
instrumental, and it may show itself differently from the way it looks in London, maybe through our
Okay.
national trust houses that we have
I hear
dotted
that.
in our little
Which
county
is kind
alone
of
of
part of
Bedfordshire.
what, again, Deborah was saying. So on Saturdays, for Saturday's events, because it's indoors, do we need to register or can we just come
Yes,
along?
there's an Eventbrite booking. It's from 3 till 7. We have Lenny T on the decks. We have Luton Mayor. We have reflections of Barrel Child. We have someone talking about how you can look after and archive your own photographs.
Oh,
So
wow.
look, because we're talking about telling our stories. Now,
Yeah.
for those of you that are old enough and listening, do you know that thing called a camera that's not on your phone?
Yeah.
You don't remember that?
No, I said, yeah, I do.
Oh, because I'm just
So,
talking to the people that might be listening. So there used to be cameras before you had mobile phones, yeah? And you
isn't
used
it?
to have
Yeah.
printed pictures that
Yeah.
sits in these albums.
Albums. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, sometimes grandma used to go, and this is so and so, and this is uncle so and so, the uncle
Yes.
that might not be biologically related to you, but that's your uncle, yeah? But with those pictures, sometimes they may have faded. Do you even know where they are? And do you know even who the people are in those pictures? So
Yeah.
we've got an amazing speaker, young Lutonian, who will be telling you a little bit more about how to look after and recover those pictures,
Oh,
because
brilliant.
that's all part of your story,
Oh
as
my
well
gosh.
as Pastor Cox, because you know
Yes.
church is spirituality is very important for us as a people.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the first Black churches were the places where we used to meet before we could do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got a varied program as well as a best dress competition. So on the theme of Windrush, so anything from the 50s right through, although we want to see if we can get creative, because if you look at the fashion, it's not too different from what we're wearing now.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's competition and prizes. So we just really want, and the grand finale is, yes, we will feed you and there'll be no need for you to cook dinner.
So 2 events. We have Thursday, the 22nd of June. What time was that again? Just remind us.
12 to 2 p.m.
12 to 2 p.m. So
there'll be still pans, there'll be sunshine, there'll be dignitaries, and we've got our fabulous Mrs. Rosie Allen, 102 years old. So this is really historic occasion. So please take your lunch break outside. And there will be Caribbean nibbles there with the sunshine to make you feel just right.
Excellent. And then on Saturday, the I was going to say civic reception,
24th,
but whatever. Yeah,
is civic reception on the inside of the town hall. We've got Lenny T from LUR spinning the decks with the Windrush genre music. We've got steel pans. Like I said, we've got some amazing guests. Some giving reflection.
Time of Saturday's event?
3 till 7.
3 till 7. And I'm sure I saw something saying the tickets are limited for that.
Yes, they are. We are, because it's in the town hall, we want you to have it in there. It's a central event. So many of us walk past that building, and it's a great opportunity to host our community event in such a historic building, which is central to a lot of things and got a lot of history in the town centre. So it'll be an opportunity for you to sit, listen to some great reflections. Like I said, how do you start collecting? And, it's great telling your story, but a lot of us will be able to tell that story from photographs, photographic albums, but how are we looking after those so that we keep that part of our own history, because that feeds into the bigger story.
Soraya, I'm going to have to stop you there, my love, just due to time constraints. But yes,
I was getting warmed up there.
I know, I can tell. I thought I'd best stop her before she's in full flow. So much going on. So nobody can say. We've only had a couple of people on, and we've been sharing on our pages because there's quite a few events, not just on those days, going into next week. And
75 is pretty much a whole year round celebration.
It's not just on a particular day and then there's nothing. There's several things going on sort of like throughout, and not just in Luton also as well. So our listeners are all over. So do you know what? If you're outside Luton and you want to do something a little bit different, come down to Luton and see what we've got to.
Yes,
we've got to show.
The African and Caribbean community, we are thriving. We have contributed and done so much, and sometimes there isn't that recognition, but we have done a lot. We have built a lot outside of London, and come and have something, come and do something different, and come and network and connect.
Exactly.
Or reconnect, in case maybe.
Right, hopefully I will see you on one of those days. Soraya, thank you so much for taking time out, darling, and for sharing with us.
And thank you so much for the
information. That's all right, darling. Oh, do you hear that? I'm everybody's auntie. Well, not everybody. I don't know why I said everybody.
The community auntie. You need to be connected and looked after. Exactly. I remember when I first came and moved here.
Tell them in 20 seconds.
So, I'm not a born and bred Lutonian. I'm adopted.
But I mean, as in like, we connected and just,
from about 2016. So I'll let people do the math. So I've been here a while. So I definitely love the place. Work locally. So,
All right. Thank you so much, darling. And I'll catch up with you soon.
Yes. Speak soon. All right then.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, wow. So for those of you that are on, if you're watching now or you're catching on the replay, as we say, there's loads of activities. Absolutely loads. As Shelley, who's just joined us again now, has been sharing on our pages. And that's just a few, isn't it, Shell? Just a few of the activities
That's just
that
the
we know
very
about.
local, the very local stuff that we've got going on. So
Yeah, and I am going to the Grove Theatre next week to see Rush.
Don't break anything while you're dancing.
I made sure my seat was on the end so I could stand up and there's nobody behind me. Seat for one, booked, purchased. I'm going to be there. I am going to be hollowing like a good one. For those of you that don't understand that I can sing, forget Shelley's face, I can sing.
Yes,
that will be happening. So we will continue to share. We ask you to do the same. I don't know, because I'm not on Facebook, I'm on my phone as well. So I don't even know if anybody's been watching. I don't know if anybody's been commenting. There's so many opportunities to get involved. Instead of sort of like moaning, we don't have this, we don't have that, I'd like this, I'd like that. Well, there's people doing things that are sort of saying, get involved.
Yeah.
And if you don't get involved, you know what? I don't want to hear you moaning. So that's Windrush, 75 years, OMG, 22nd of June. So that's this coming Thursday. Shelley Titmus, I do believe you're up to something.
Yes, yeah. Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after. There might be a few lives. I might be doing the show.
There will be. There will be.
Yeah, I might be doing the show from Milton Keynes.
Our roving report, you can tell she's in the car at the moment. We can do our shows anytime, any place, anywhere. So you're going to be in Milton Keynes. What are you doing there, girl?
There's a little thing called the Baton of Hope. Sorry, I'm getting the feedback on my phone, so I don't know whether you're hearing it when I'm talking. Right, okay. Yeah, it's called Baton of Hope, and it's a physical thing that looks like an Olympic torch.
Oh, is it heavy?
I don't know. It's quite heavy. I think.
Well, you could do some training, girl.
Yeah. And it's going all across the UK, and there's certain spots that it's stopping to go around that town or city, and you have baton bearers, and it's to raise awareness for suicide. It's been put together to make all of these other little charities and programs and things that are on that are doing suicide awareness, suicide intervention, putting all these little charities all together, and just raising awareness that there is hope out there. There is there's things that you can do to help yourself. And even if you've had someone that has passed by suicide, there is help out there for you as well. So I was going to try and put the banner on, but I don't know whether it's going to.
Don't do it; it'll kick you out.
No, I think it is going to be all right. It's the 4th of July that we're actually in Milton Keynes, but for the 2 weeks, this baton is going all the way across the UK. So just find where it is local to you, and get involved with some. Sorry,
is this the first year they've done this, or has this been going on for first year?
This is the very, very first year.
So inaugural. Oh my gosh! And Shelley Titmus is like one of the. This is what we talk about history. This is history making, also, isn't it? Come on.
Yeah. It's fabulous. It's something that you had to apply for. It might not be something that people would want to apply for. However, everyone that's a baton bearer has some kind of story, and the whole idea is that this baton not only is it a symbol that's going round, but it's also being passed between people that either trained to be like in suicide awareness, have had someone passed by suicide, someone that's survived suicide. There is, every one of us has got a story, and each town has got about 100 different bearers kind of going on. So it's something that it's the symbol of the thing itself. I mean, like for the Olympics, it's the torch, it's the flame that's gone around everywhere. This thing is our stories that's going through each individual hands and passing that on to someone else.
Oh, that sounds absolutely incredible. I do hope, I'm pretty sure that people will be aware of the event, that the media certainly showcase how important this is.
I mean, it started off, I think the first thing was on BBC News, breakfast news, and I don't think people kind of got it to start off with, but then when they realised just what it meant to people, and the charities, because even though if you look on sort of our Facebook page and my page, I've got the map of where it's going around the UK, but also the map of where it's going around Milton Keynes, and that each of the little different stops has got something that you can attend that's something to do with mental health, something that helps you, a charity that's out there, for instance. So we've got like Chums, we've got Mind, the Ollie Foundation. There's another support group that's like SOB, so it's survivors of bereavement by suicide. That they're doing little things while the baton's moving round, but all through the day at Milton Keynes Don's ground, there's a conference and there's talks going on there as well.
Wow. I think now I'm right in saying that everybody knows somebody that has been impacted by suicide. So we're going to be talking more about this because it's 2 weeks away. So I think for the next, certainly for the next couple of shows, it's worth reminding people, you know, what's happening, where it's happening. So when they see it, it's like, oh yes, they were talking about it on the Simply Together show, and oh, I know someone who could benefit from going, attending. Maybe, as you sort of said, there's a day full of different things going on. You've got the information. We're sending out so much information on our pages, guys. So please, and Shelley's page also as well. So please get in touch. Please share.
Also, as part of this, what you say about sharing, I said about the Ollie Foundation.
Yeah.
They, as part of the 2 weeks that the baton's going round, they're putting on free training to do with mental health, to do with there's goal setting, but it's not like goal setting like you would do at work. Goal setting as in, if you've got a confused mind, if you've got problems with your mental health, ADHD or anything like that, that you actually want to try and do something, there's ways that you can help your mind get from A to Z without going through too many loops. That's one of the courses that Debbie does, the CEO of the Ollie Foundation. But they're putting on free training throughout these 2 weeks coming up.
That's incredible.
That
so
it's been funded
out there and things like that. It's for them to get in touch and get them. Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant stuff. So proud of you. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done. We'll get those steps up. Don't you worry, everybody who's concerned. She'll be doing a load of lives before then. Like, She's not walking, TJ. What's going on?
Yeah.
She's got to get her
That'd be
steps in.
weird. Yeah.
She's got to get her steps in. And then everybody, you're going to get to live on the day. Shelley will be, when she can, she'll do a bit of reporting. Hopefully we might even get to see the Baton also as well. Whatever else might be going on. She's our secret reporter. So, yes. So thanks for that, Shell. And obviously we'll be talking more about that over the next coming weeks. So guys, remember, we are going to be out of here now. Time is an hour already. My gosh, we've had some amazing guests as always. We have some major events this week in not just Luton, in surrounds, but we are talking about Luton specifically. And 22nd of June, this Thursday, 75 years. Windrush, don't know what's it all about. Look it up. Or shall I tell you what?
Watch the
Get
telly.
yourself along.
Yeah.
Yeah, get yourself along if you want to know more. Every day is a school day, not just for the young, also for us elders as well. So
There's lots of documentaries this year, in particular on TV as well, that's coming up during this week, so not just on Thursday.
Yeah.
And on the radio as well.
Yeah, I think the BBC doing lots of things, aren't they?
Yeah.
So if we get any of that information, we will, once again, we will be sharing that with you. So if you understand the importance of sharing, sometimes whatever it is, it may not, we say it all the time, may not be for you, but a friend is going to be so grateful. Shelley's just talked about the Baton of Hope. Is it the 4th of July?
4th of July, yeah.
Yeah, 4th of July in Milton Keynes. Yeah, I'm going to see what I can do. See what I can do, because I'd so love to be there, and I want to say be a part of that, but just be there and just to, yeah, because as Shelley knows, I think everybody knows somebody that's been impacted. So we are out of here, are we not, Shell? We are out of here. Keep a tune on our pages. My gosh, so much going on. So much going on. And you know what? If you've got something out there and you're thinking like, I want to share, I want to have a chat, you know how to get in touch. simplydeezevents@gmail.com, or just drop us a message and we will come back to you, because we'd love to have you on the show. All right. So from me and
I don't know how that was coming.
I don't know. See you later. Bye.